Hello and welcome back to Airdrie Public Library Virtual Programming. This is part 3 of our Twine series, and last time we looked at some cool stuff, including the prompt function. We included some randomness into our games using either. We learned about arrays, local variables, as well as global variables. And we even used a random number to pick a random book out of our array here. This time we're going to learn probably what I think is the coolest functions in Twine, and that is the cyclical link or cycling link. So I'm just going to type some stuff out here, and you guys can follow along if you'd like. I'll explain it all later. So I'm going to say you look at the ghost librarian and say ... And I'm going to create a cycling link. Use a special keyword called bind. And I'm going to assign it to a variable. So I'm just creating this one, and we're going to call it say, comma. And here's where we're going to include some options for what to say. Maybe we want to say, a ghost. We want to include maybe an option for saying, that's not my book. And let's include an option to say, I'm sorry. And then I'm going to do another one, let's say. I'm going to create another cycling link to add even more options. Just the same, I'm going to bind it to a new global variable. Let's call this say2 because it has to be different. And we're going to expand on what we're going to say here. Maybe let's say excuse. I moved away before being able to return the book. Return the book. Okay, that's our first option. Our second option is help me. And let's make a third option. I've never even seen a library before. This looks good. Let's hit this test button and see what it does. So you see a pile of books on the desk. The titles read Hunger Games, Name of the Wind, To Kill a Mockingbird, Mosquito Coast, Fahrenheit 451, Macbeth. To Kill a Mockingbird catches your eye. You realize that this is the same book you checked out 10 years ago and never returned. A ghost librarian appears behind the desk and says, why haven't you returned your book? And this error is okay because this is where our name is supposed to go. We haven't ran that section in this test, so this is empty and returning an error. It says, you look at the ghost librarian and say, a ghost. I moved away before I was able to return the book. And now we can click these links, and we can see that it's going to actually cycle between all of the options we chose. And so you can say, I'm sorry, help me, or I'm sorry, I've never even seen a library before. All kinds of combinations with this. So this is pretty interesting. Let's make something that we can use with it. So let's say we want to have a particular combination of those two cycling links that opens up a different pathway. I'm going to use a special thing here called live. So what live does is makes a chunk of your text, well, alive. So I'm going to put alive, and then I'm going to put in a time frame. So I'm going to go 0.5 seconds. This means every 0.5 seconds, whatever's in here is going to run again. And if I do something like put an if statement in there, say like if our say variable is I'm sorry. Actually, I'm just going to highlight and copy paste this, I'm sorry. And our say2 variable is I moved away before being able to return the book. So if say is I'm sorry and say2 is I moved away before being able to return the book, then we're going to do what's in here. Else, we're going to do what's in here. Let's spread this out a little bit just so it's a little easier to read. All right. This is the good thing. Maybe the ghost says, oh, that's okay. Be on your way. And then you have the option to get out of there. I'm going to send that to a leave passage. And then if you do the wrong thing, maybe she's going to say, the ghost says, you need to pay a late fee. And we're going to a passage that says, pay the late fee. So let's test that out again here to make sure it works. Oh, wrong one. You can see that it automatically created the late fee and the leave passages just from typing that. So To Kill a Mockingbird catches our eye. And we see, look, a ghost. I moved away before being able to return the book. And we can change these. And if we make it, I'm sorry, I moved away before being able to return the book. You saw it change the text here to get out of there. If I keep on clicking it, it'll go back. And it'll update this every 0.5 seconds, like I said, because of that this live function here. You don't want to use too many of these in a single passage. I think it might lag up your computer, make it all slow. But I think it's okay to just use one. All right. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's fill out this leave passage. And we're going to say, with your conscience cleared, conscience, I don't know how to spell that word, cleared, you leave the library, the old abandoned library in peace. Game 1. And then the late fee. How much do you give? So there's another very interesting way to create an input method for your players. And one of those is called the Dropdown. I can spell it right. Dropdown. And once again, we're going to use that special keyword bind. Bind is kind of like set, but it's only used for the dropdown and the cycling link. I'm going to bind a local variable called give. This means that give can only be used inside this passage, not inside any others. And we're going to give them some options. Give nothing. We could give a little, or we can give a lot. Let's see what this looks like. How much do you give? Nothing, a little, a lot. Now this text on here is white, white on white, so it's kind of hard to see. This is actually a bug with Google Chrome. I know it works fine in Firefox, and I haven't checked anything else, but I'm sure most of them should look fine. So we can make a selection here, a little, a lot, and change it. So let's do something with that. Maybe we want to create a confirm button. We're going to call this confirm, and we're going to create this as a hook. You should know how to do this. We did this the first week. And so when you confirm, we will click replace our confirm hook. And let's put another one of those if statements into there. If give is nothing or a little, you want to do something bad. Maybe the ghost makes a noise and you fall asleep. Game over. That's our game over condition. So the only other option is we give a lot. We want to make this a good option. Maybe the ghost says, that will do. And the ghost disappears. Game 1. And that's our ending. Now there's one more function I want to cover, and that is called the display. So we're going to go all the way back to our trip and fall passage over here, and we're going to create one more option over here. Let's say a ghost appears holding out their hand. They seem to want you to give them money. Now we can use something called display and put in another passage name. Late fee is what we called this one over here. So what display does is it will grab everything in here and just plop it right into here. So let's test this one first to make sure it works. How much do you give? We're going to give a lot. Confirm, that will do. The ghost disappears. Game 1. And then let's say you trip and fall. And we can see that it's popped up down here. How much do you give? We're going to give a little. Confirm. Ghost makes a noise and you fall asleep. Game over. And that is our game, our Twine adventure game. Let's play it one more time from start to finish, and that'll be that. What is your name? My name is, oh, my name's Adam, but we're going to go Joe for this one. Oh, so your name is Joe. Continue. You show up at the old abandoned library. We are going to try the front door. Try the front door, but it is locked with heavy chains and a padlock. You click this, it says the padlock's old and rusty. Let's look around. You look around and find a pair of bolt cutters. You click that, it says bolt cutters added to your inventory. Go back, we're going to try this lock again, and you cut your way through the chains. Enter the library. You enter the library. It's dark, dusty. Books line the shelves. Pull a book from the shelf. The shelves seem to never end. The book is about romance. You put it back and continue on. Go to the service desk. See a pile of books on the desk. The titles read Hunger Games, Name of the Wind, To Kill a Mockingbird, Mosquito Coast, Fahrenheit 451, and Macbeth. The Mosquito Coast catches your eye. You realize that it is the same book you checked out 10 years ago and never returned. A ghost librarian appears behind the desk and says, "Why haven't you returned your book, Joe?" You look at the ghost librarian and say, "That's not my book. Help me." The ghost says, "You need to pay a late fee." So let's pay that late fee. And let's give them a lot. That will do. And the ghost disappears. Game 1. Look at that. We've done it. Alright, so that was our Twine adventure. Thank you so much for being here with me and watching. I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.